The last of the weekly rounds, and we've a dress rehearsal for the playoff series. Halifax next Sunday will be at Headingley against Leeds. Tonight, psychological points are at stake at the new Shea. So the last round of matches, 7 clubs can now plan their end-of-season party. Here are the results in round 23. St Helens 50, Sheffield 0 on Friday. Earlier today, Castleford 23, London 18. Hull 36, Huddersfield 14, and Warrington 24, Wigan 30. And the latest score from the match taking place at Odsal, the champions, Bradford Bulls 10, Salford Reds 6. So to the table, and it ends with Wigan top, Leeds second, Halifax third, Saints fourth, Bradford fifth. Castleford have claimed 6th, a point ahead of the Broncos after their victory at Weldon Road today. It's second place Leeds against third place Halifax then, and it'll be this match only at Headingley in 7 days' time. Here's the lineup though for this particular battle at the new Shea. Damien Gibson, former Leeds man at full-back. Tuilangi, Powell, Bloom and Bouveng the three-quarters. Chester and Clinch at half. And the forwards, Harrison, Rowley and Skerrett, Marshall and Gillespie in the second row, and Gary Mercer, another former Leeds man, at loose forward. And on the bench, Pearson, Clark, Moana, back after a broken arm, and Hall. The coach is John Pendlebury. Now the Leeds Rhinos, 1 or 2 notable absentees, they're rested for next week. St Hilaire at full-back instead of Harris. Golden, Blackmore, Cummins and Sterling, because there's no Brad Godden there. Kemp and Ryan Sheridan, Kemp the captain. And the forwards, Masella, Lawford and McDermott. Farrell and Hay, no Adrian Morley. And Mark Glanville is the loose forward. And on the bench for Leeds, Powell, Holroyd, Rivette and Fleary, and the coach, Graham Murray. So the Blue Sox dressing room, the big improvers of 1998, and don't write them off of making a shock appearance at Old Trafford on the 24th of October. Leeds, second in the table. This, their best Super League finish by a mile. But they've not won here at the New Shea or at Thrum Hall for 4 years. Having said that, they're about to set new club records for fewest reverses in the league season if they avoid defeat here. So second and 19 victories to their credit so far, just the 3 defeats. That'll be a new mark for the club. 2 of the 4 in Super League to have crossed for more than 100 tries on show tonight. Little to choose in defence. What a year for Francis Cummins. His tries and the tackling of Anthony Farrell giving the Rhinos the best current winning sequence in Super League. And out they come, led tonight by Tony Kemp. Back at standoff, no Yestin Harris, and a huge Leeds contingent here at Halifax to cheer them on. So the Blue Sox, their motto for tonight, our playoff campaign starts right here. That's the message from the new Shea, third in Super League this year. They could score a massive psychological boost in advance of next Sunday's clash at Headingley and the playoffs if they win. So Halifax, 3 straight and emphatic wins behind them. Only 1 defeat here at the new Shea. They aim to maintain that record tonight. Plenty of tries, but they've conceded 14 more than Leeds. In attack, joint try scorers, Martin Moana's back on the bench. Back fit again for the playoff series, which begin for Halifax with the repeat of this fixture, but up the road at Headingley next week. Well, he's a real warhorse, Carl Harrison. His 8th season at Halifax, his 201st appearance here, and he leads his men with distinction week in and week out. Great favourite on the terraces, the Blue Sox with a new belief at the new Shea. 1998 could really be their year. Don't write them off of getting to Old Trafford. Picturesque little ground this, in the middle of a massive development programme. And the new Shea has certainly been not the happiest of hunting grounds for certain teams this year. Now then, we've got another minute's silence coming up here tonight, and quite right too, for Alan Prescott, the St Helens and Great Britain skipper, but a man who began his professional career at Halifax. And we also again remember tonight Bill Shankland, Tom Mitchell and the former Great Britain winger John Stopford, who have died over the past month. So the people of Halifax asking to respect the minute's silence for some legend of the games who have left us over the past few weeks. Throughout the game of rugby league this weekend, those minutes silence have been impeccably observed, and it's a great pat on the back for the supporters that that is the case. Steve Presley is tonight's match referee. So, will Halifax take a huge psychological advantage into next week's meeting at Headingley? Will the plan from Graham Murray to rest some of his big-name stars backfire? There is Graham Murray right behind the gentleman in front. And Steve, you think that's a bit of a gamble by the Leeds coach?
I think it is, yes. It surprises me. With it being an Australian, of course, they selected the dream team last week, and all three players from Leeds, Godden, Harris and Morley, that was entered into the dream team for 1998. They will not be playing tonight, and I do think that Halifax have got it right. They want to continue on, get the role, get the feel of things, and what better way than to score heavily against this Leeds outfit tonight.
This, though, is Andy Hay for the Leeds Rhinos. John Pendlebury, the quiet achiever of 1998. Only Wigan have won here this year. They're proud of that record, and they want to add Leeds' name to that list. That's why John Pendlebury has named his strongest possible lineup. Maybe a change or two in the second row, with Marshall in there alongside Gillespie, but elsewhere it's pretty formidable. And Gibson, the former Leeds fullback, underneath the first high kick downfield, is playing with 18 stitches in the head. That's why he's got the head guard on. Be a big brave effort from him. And this now is Ferretti to Ilangi. St Helens bound next year.
Wasn't the best kick from Leeds. They really wanted to apply the pressure, but it was far too deep. No chance of any of the chasers getting anywhere near Gibson, the full-back. But it just shows, when you look at this Leeds outfit that's out there tonight, it's still formidable. Shows you the depth and strength that they have at Headingley these days.
This is Carl Harrison. Over the halfway line he goes. Hay and Farrell, and also Lawford in there quickly. Gavin Clinch, the director as far as the Blue Sox have been concerned this year. His kick finds touch over on the far side. Gavin Clinch, member of the dream team, the only man from Halifax to be named.
And this is one of the reasons why he really has been a superb architect throughout the season. Halifax really do rely on the brains ticking away inside there. He's a talented halfback and fully deserves being entered amongst a very strong dream team.
Sheridan feeds the scrum and gets it from the base of that scrum, then takes the tackle. 16-12, half an hour gone in the first half at Odsal. We'll keep you in touch with Bradford Bulls against the Salford Reds throughout the course of the evening. This is Barry McDermott. He unloads the pass. Good defence, though, on Marcus St Hilaire as he tried to charge downfield. This now Martin Masella, Harrison and Chris Chester in there with the tackling. Now McDermott regaining his Super League confidence. He's played the last 4 games, just coming back to full fitness and form at the right time. To Ilangi, big favourite on the terraces here, despite the fact that he's elected to go pastures new next year.
Pretty hard man to pass there, the loose forward Mark Glanville.
Leeds all offside, creeping up at the play of the ball.
And the man who made the tackle failed to get back, but one of the great defenders in Super League. Here's the loose forward Mark Glanville. Referee Steve Presley, pretty quick to pick quite a few of them out. Andy Hay was one also. Well, Halifax...
Yasin Harris on the bench and watching. He ends his consecutive run of appearances for Leeds tonight. The first match he's missed, in fact, since his move from Warrington. He's not playing this evening, even though he's decked out in a tracksuit. This is Marshall. Good strong run from Richard Marshall. He's started to come to terms with Super League this year, this fellow.
Well, surely the referee called hell then. They really went in to scrap him.
Mercer, a former Leeds player of the year, disgruntled to not have been offered a new contract at Headingley for 98, so came here to Halifax and really has done the business. This is Dio Powell now, the Welsh international, tackled by Masella. 4 minutes gone, 0-0, Rowley in at dummy half, looks for Clinch and finds him, and Clinch stabs it through. It might come up for him, it does! First try to Halifax, courtesy of Gavin Clinch. Was he injured as he went over? over. He grimaces as he picks himself up off the floor. But first blood to Gavin Clinch, and a lovely little dab through with the boot. And it came up perfectly.
He's all class. Quick play of the ball, and you can see that Leeds were really all at sea. Dummy rover back on the inside. He used Skerritt there, but I'm afraid St. Hilaire was very slow to get across to that football. It was a good option there by the Australian halfback. Look at that, he threw the dummy. When he went through, the fullback St. Hilaire was far too slow. Great opportunity to try this. Put his body on the line. Got the right bound. St. Hilaire couldn't do anything about it. What an opening. What a player.
So Gavin Clinch, and now he will try and improve his own try from bang in front. And manages it without too much difficulty. So Halifax with a 6-point lead early at the new Shea.
There you see, Clinch will do it, and the man circle is a full back. He really should have been getting over there a little bit quicker. It was only a split second, but it was sufficient for Clinch to take the first try. Quick thinking.
So Graham Murray knows that he has got a little problem or two early on. Kemp underneath the kickoff, and he gives it to Anthony Farrell. Great defence from Halifax. Super stuff as they barreled into the man carrying the football.
Great defence as well. They're moving extremely quickly, Halifax. As you mentioned, John Pendlebury, their coach, said that they have started the quest for the playoffs tonight. They're not waiting until next weekend. Psychological lift to them. They've got it. They've got off to a flying start. How can Leeds? Can they dig deep? They'll have to.
Ryan Sheridan back after missing the whole game last week. And the kick from Kemp is high. Tuilangi's over there. He's under it. Tuilangi spills it, but under pressure, and unfair pressure too, because the on-rushing players were all offside. Have to give the man catching the football 10 metres, and they were in front of the kicker anyway.
Well, at least 4 or 5. Hay running through, and the winger also. Marvin Golden well in front of Kemp. Well, so far, 3 attempted kicks by Leeds. None have been all that constructive. 2 have been far too deep. That one was okay, but the players have to make sure they get behind the kicker.
Kelvin Skerritt gets up, plays the ball to Rowley, and here goes Marshall again. Richard Marshall, 22 years of age, a prop usually, making his 50th appearance today. Alongside this man, Carl Gillespie in the second row. Struggles to his feet. Rowley's the dummy half. Sheridan's after him. Rowley does well. Not the best pass though. It bounces to Skerritt. He turns in the tackle, gives it to Clinch. And Clinch is demolished by 2 big men, Hay and Glanville. Mercer gets it away to Chester. Dink over the top from Chester, but it's out on the full. He was under pressure, Chester, as he got that kick in.
Well, not the best kick again. And both sides not getting themselves into the swing of things. Just while that kick was going on there, Paul Rowley had made a run from the dummy half position, picked up a knock.
Paul Sterling's collected the loose ball, and then gets a very fine tackle from David Boubeng.
Blackmore definitely did not get fingertips to that, but Boubeng's defence was pretty good.
Sheridan, back it goes to Masella, leads on halfway, and forced back into their own territory again.
You can see the Halifax defence, not only are they committing themselves to the tackle, but they're turning the ball carrier onto his back. That allows them vital seconds to set up their defence.
Good tackle again from Dio Powell, that time on Francis Cummins. He now is Sheridan. He misses out Farrell and finds Kemp, and Kemp gives it to Blackmore, but it was round Blackmore's ears, and he could not make any progress. He was more interested in retaining possession for his side, which he's done. This now is Sterling. Here's Kemp. It's on the last tackle, so Kemp will hoist the kick cross field. And here comes Gibson looking for it, but Tuilangi takes charge again.
So confident there. Tuilangi, the winger. It's mine, he said. He's such a big fella. Oh, that's all right. Hey, grabbed him by the shirt. Don't know what the crowd are going wild at.
Strong run again from Tuilangi. Now Mercer bounces off the chest of Masella, who gets him second time.
There you see the repeat of the tackle. It was okay. Well, you can see how Halifax are getting over the advantage line with ease, mainly due to the fact, quick play from the dummy half, quick play the ball. Harrison
on the break, he's got a man inside, it's Chester. Farrell did well, brilliant hands, wonderful try from Gavin Clinch. That was fantastic try, and Gavin Clinch, well, they got the ball away, they kept it going despite the tackles were coming in, and Clinch somehow picked it up between his knees and his ankles. His 12th of the season. Has he scored a better one?
You'd have to go a long way to see a better one than this. It was superb play by Rowley. Back on the inside. Leeds are so slow at the play the ball area. They really are being caught out there. Chester followed Harrison, and then Clinch finishing it off. That really is poor work from the defence from Leeds, especially at the dummy half position. Chester did well, so did Clinch. Plucked it and it was going down towards his ankles. Beautiful pass, look at this. It still had to be scored. Not the best attempt by the fullback, Sainalea. Forced the ball down with the forearm. It's okay, according to Steve Presley.
Well, it's the Gavin Clinch show, because all 12 points from Halifax have come from this man. 2 tries, 2 goals. Halifax 12-0 in the driving seat at the moment.
There you see Rowley has gone over to the left-hand side, then switches the ball back. There is just no attempt. The second marker was all at sea. Great support work. Well, Eddie, you mentioned it was all about control. Clinch just had control of that too. Well, if they wanted a boost to go into the big game at Headingley next week, then the Blue Sox certainly have it. Not much emotion on the face of John Pendlebury. There never is. The quiet achiever this season. But what a start for Halifax. They really have just rocked Leeds back on their heels.
That's Marvin Golden who gets to his feet. Sheridan, he now hands it on to Martin Masella. Now if Leeds win, they will set a new club record of just 6 points dropped in a league campaign. The previous best was 8 in the 68-69 and 69-70 seasons. If they avoid defeat here, they'll also equal the Leeds club record of fewest defeats in a season, and that was set in 1968-69 as well. But they've got all to do here, and defence like this from Gibson and company, sensational.
Much better kick on that occasion. You could see that they were forcing pressure on Gibson. He took it in the infield and then took it into the in-goal area. That's the reason why we'll have the dropout from underneath the sticks. For any new viewers, of course, if he would have taken it within the in-goal area, then that would have been a diffusion of the bomb. So that would be a tap on the quarter line to Halifax, but not on that occasion.
So Leeds have got it back. St Hilaire plays the ball to Lawford, and he then gives it to Masella. And Dean Lawford, number 19, scurrying in there to dummy half, has missed the last 12 matches. Hooker in the away defeat rather against Hull, and he's not played since. And that was the first defeat that Leeds suffered this year. This is Farrell. Farrell with a good strong run to within 3 metres of the line. Of course, Leeds with huge pedigree, having beaten Wigan twice this year already. This is Masella. Masella again, but this Halifax rear guard standing firm once more. Lawford. Oh, and it was Cummings, I think, who put that down. It was.
Not the best pass. Well, they really got to get themselves sorted out here. Try to take it on the half volley. Cummings couldn't do that, playing in the centres tonight.
Gibson again with the scrum guard on. He played a reserve grade grand final with Newcastle, did the Halifax full-back in 1993. What would he give to get there in the big one at Old Trafford? Farrell, meanwhile, is penalised for interference at the play the ball.
Well, it was a great tackle by the second row of Farrell. Really put a lot of effort into it. You could see there he rolled all over the man with the football. Good effort just wasted there. Well, I'll tell you what, Eddie, Leeds coach Graham Murray really has got to get the message out to it. We always thought that this was going to be a game like a game of chess in many ways, trying not to give too much away. But the one thing that Halifax is doing, and it's getting across to that fella, Graham Murray, is that they are full of enthusiasm. Leeds have yet to strike it.
Yes, it's been that sort of season for the Blue Sox. They're a team in every sense of the word this year. Marshall. Great run again from Richard Marshall.
What a big game the second row is having.
Clinch to Chester. And Chester, oh, lovely step. He looked for Tuilangi, and Tuilangi put the pass down. I think it's fair to say, Steve, this Halifax side is not blessed with glittering stars from top to bottom, but they are a team right the way through.
Workmanlike, aren't they? If you really want to sort of put them on the same category as Canterbury Bankstown. The Bulldogs, even though they lost today to the Brisbane Broncos in the Australian Grand Final, you have to say that this Halifax outfit have got the same attitude.
Well, if you missed, by the way, the Brisbane Broncos Canterbury Bulldogs Aussie Grand Final that we had for you live on Sky Sports this morning, you'll be able to see that right after the match here. We've got highlights for you when this game is over, on air tonight from the new Shay at until 9 o'clock. In the last half hour of the programme, we will bring you the highlights of that Grand Final played earlier today. Steve-O's given the game away now, of course, that Brisbane have won, but see how they won it.
Oh, the real fans would have been up early this morning at 6. Like you, Eddie.
Of course, set the alarm clock. Here's McDermott. I know many of the players as well, by the way, were up this morning early to watch it.
Why not? It's in the offing that Brisbane, now that they're the champions, that there will be a World Club final between the two grand finalists.
Well, that'll be something to see if it comes off. Leeds will want to be involved in that, but first they've got to get to the grand final here, and they have been penalised here.
Well, you could see they were pulling the man back. Rowley could get anywhere near to play the football. It was Kemp. Pretty big hit as well by the prop forward Kelvin Skerritt on his opposite Barry McDermott. Not only are Halifax displaying some fine attacking skills, the forward exchanges, they are going over that advantage line, and quite frankly Leeds, who for most of this season their defence has been quite superb, looks all at sea. They have not got their minds on the job.
Halifax 12, Leeds 0. Gavin Clinch has scored them all. He's after 2 more here. What's more, he's got them. Gavin Clinch 14, Leeds 0, but it's not that sort of team, this. It's a wonderful effort from all 17 who are in the squad. We've yet to see any of the 4 subs on.
Quite amazing, isn't it, that before the start of this season, Halifax was being mooted as one of the 4 that would finish in the bottom half of the league. Not many gave them a chance to be up there in the top 5.
I think that is testimony to the work that John Pendlebury and the crew have done here at the new Shay.
And you talk about player power. Remember, of course, Pendlebury resigned halfway through this season, and the players ganged up, went to the club officials and said, hey, you won't get much better than this guy, ask him back. And full credit to the board here, they did just that.
Yes, and he's well and truly ensconced at the new Shay, and part of this development program that they have got that is in full swing both on and off the field in this part of the world. This now is Blackmore. Blackmore flicks it back and straight into the arms of Carl Gillespie.
Well, they've completely lost the plot here. Blackmore trying to get the ball out to Kemp, but Kemp had already shot over.
Oh, Boubang on the break. St. Hilaire stood his ground and Blackmore collared him. Gibson, dummy half. Mercer, that's the ex-Leeds 1-2 for Halifax. And he bounces off 2 would-be challenges. And 8 missed tackles by Leeds already. Halifax faultless thus far. Marshall now.
Only 18 minutes into this game, 8 missed tackles. It's Horrifying stats there for Graham Murray, the coach. Well, not much of a chess game here so far. What happened there?
It was a knock-on, I think.
A bit messy there, and you can see that Skerritt trying to get on with it. Knock on by the fullback, Damien Gibson. Well, Leeds really have to dig deep and get themselves back into this match. You talk about a confidence booster, but if Halifax run away to a 40 points, which is possible if Leeds don't sort out the defence, it's going to take a big job from Graham Murray to get them wound up for next week.
It is, but if it does all go pear-shaped for Graham Murray, well, he'll say, I suppose, at the end of it, well, so what? It really matters next Sunday. That's the one that we're thinking about now. But this is Cummins. Good tackle by Powell. Golden, dummy half. Lawford bounces it into the arms of Kemp, and Kemp looks right and sees that Sterling is onside. Is a tester for Boubeng. He comes up with it, doesn't he? Oh, and he goes away from Farrell like he's not there. Boubeng. Kemp. I don't think Steve Presley was too impressed with that.
Well, it was a wonderful effort from Boubeng. And he went across the shoulder. Now, he's a bit confused, is Tony Kemp, and I think rightly so. I don't think he hit him. He went for the shoulder. I really don't think he caught him on the chin, but it happened so quickly as Boubeng was stepping off his left foot back on the inside of the Leeds standoff. And I think the action there just convinced the referee, Steve Presley, to give the penalty.
Carl Harrison drives it in. First tackle. Big penalty count in Halifax's favour as well. Rowley, the dummy half. Gillespie. Grounded. Kemp and Anthony Farrell. Rowley again. Skerritt's the runner on his inside. Kemp missed him. Everyone did. He flicked it back to Harrison. Here now is Clinch, keeping the ball alive well. Chester. Dio Powell. Dio Powell's got support from Mercer. That is a lovely little moment for Gary Mercer. The side that let him go, and he's made them pay the penalty with that try. Leeds skipper, former Leeds Player of the Year in his time, now very much with colours pinned to the Blue Sox mast.
Skerritt started it all. Tremendous upper body strength. Offloads there, Harrison out wide, Clinch. Then watch, and he brings it back on the inside from Chester. Powell does it everything. Support play superb. Mercer playing it loose forward. Absolutely outstanding here. Who said that this guy's finished? He's got plenty left in the tank as a big fella, Kelvin Skerritt. Chester, beautiful delayed inside. Powell, strength, support. Leeds are in trouble. Big, big trouble. Outstanding there by the big prop forward. Skill aplenty, back on the inside. Leeds sliding across. They won't stop that fella. They're on the roll.
Gary Mercer then with the try, and you can see how sweet a moment that is for him after his career at Leeds, which I think he believes came to a fairly abrupt and untimely end at the end of last year. Clinch adds 2 more points. Clinch has got 16, Mercer's got 4, Halifax have 20.
4 defenders, they're all rushing towards Skerritt, and once he flips it away, the sliding defence was caught static. They were on the back foot. You can see they've got to move forward. They failed to do it. Nothing that Golden could do about this. The former Leeds star Mercer got one in the face from his old mate Kemp, but he won't mind. He will.
Graham Murray looking at the clock. How long to go? Well, we're just over the midpoint of this first half. Long way to go when you're 20-0 down. A match, I think, that Graham Murray would have preferred not to have the week before he faces Halifax at Headingley next week. They're offside though now, Halifax. Leeds get their first penalty of the match.
Ironic cheer from the Leeds fans who've come all the way across to the Shea. And I'm not surprised that Graham Murray, the Leeds boss, is looking at the watch, because I think he'd like to have a few words to his charges at the half-time break, and rightly so. They've also got to remember that not only the psychological disadvantage that they're bringing upon themselves, what about the supporters?
Oh, they'll be there in numbers next Sunday at Headingley. Don't worry about that. The playoff series in full swing this time next week. Andy Hay taking on Chester. Powell came in with a little short, sharp right. The playoffs kick off with Saints against Bradford. Now that is sudden death next Friday. That's the elimination, the first of the teams to bow out, Saints or Bradford, next Friday. And then on Sunday we have the repeat of this, repeat or revenge for somebody. That's the qualifying playoff. Whoever wins that goes forward to play Wigan for the right to meet for the right to get through to the grand final. The losers have a second bite at the cherry.
Another mistake that Leeds coughing up the ball. It's not the best stats for Graham Murray to look at. But it's all smiles on the opposite side. The Blue Sox, their defence is solid. They've got into the swing of things. Leeds all at strike. Well, that's better.
Changes by John Pendlebury, 3 off, 3 on. Hall, one of the new faces. On to Clark, one of the new faces. And they'll be happy that Martin Moana is back out there as well, because Moana has been one of the bedrocks of this season for Halifax. This is Gillespie. Here is Gibson. Second ex-Leeds man who's after a try, and he's just hauled down. That's great defence from Sterling. Halifax aren't done. This is Moana now. Well, I thought Gibson was on his way to the corner for a try.
Wonderful tackle from Sterling.
This is Bloom.
Well, I don't know why Halifax have gone the short side. They really had Leeds caught out wide.
That's on the last tackle. Jamie Bloom caught in possession. Halifax going for the power play. It's the turnover.
But again, we see missed tackles by this Leeds outfit. They just do not have the mind on the job. They cannot expect glory. They cannot just eliminate this game. Otherwise, they could come a big cropper next week.
Be interesting to see if it stays like this, of course, and there's a long way to go yet. 20-0 down Leeds, but it'll be interesting to see what the two coaches say about this at the end of the day, no matter which way it goes.
Well, without a doubt, we know that. The Graham Murray, they'll probably say, well, we just came here to just have a bit of a knockout, a bit of a workout. But you try to get that through to some of the players' minds who are making all the mistakes, the forward passes, the drop ball, the missed tackles. It's all about timing. You've gone all the way through the season. You don't want to just fritter it away in 80 minutes here.
Andy Hayes pass out wide looking for Francis Cummins was forward. So the scrum will go down. To be fair to Graham Murray, he has rested several key players recently, and of course he's got away with it. But Yestin Harris is out today with next week in mind, as is Brad Godden, though to be fair he is carrying a slight knock, as I believe is Adrian Morley. So I suppose when you look at it like that, there's no point risking further damage. Meanwhile, Mercer is penalised. The tackle was completed, and then he got up and ran away again, but he should have stood up and played the ball.
Well spotted by the official. Well, I'm not so sure. There was not a hand laid upon him, and there you go, that wasn't completed. Must have a hand on him when the ball carrying arm hits a deck. I'm afraid Steve Presley's got that wrong.
Yes, Steve Presley, not as quick as the players on that occasion.
The biggest problem, though, Eddie, is that some of these players are going in half-hearted into the tackle, and I can assure you that's the easiest way to pick up an injury, a bad knock. You've got to go 100% all the time. You train as full-time professional, you just cannot go at half pace.
That's better from Leeds. This is Farrell, who of course are defending the best. 18 missed tackles in the match from Leeds already. They're defending the best unbeaten run in the game at the moment. 7 straight defeats behind them before they arrived here at the new Shea. And in possession here with Kemp, who goes straight up the middle, but the Halifax defence again stands firm. Darryl Powell is the dummy half. Sheridan stabbed it through. It's a very narrow in goal area here, though. And Francis Cummins and Marvin Golden are quick, but not that quick.
Sheridan realising that this solid Halifax defence, perhaps the only way through. It's a good option, but it was a little bit too long in the end. Well, he's finding it pretty difficult against his opposite number, Gavin Clinch. Talented player, Ryan Sheridan.
Referee wants the football to be brought back onto the field of play. Martin Hall then will restart and gives it to Jamie Bloom. 24-12 into the second half. Bradford ahead. Clark with a break. The unsung hero of this Halifax side is Des Clark. Andy Hay doing all he could to stop the momentum, and he succeeded. Here's Mercer, now Moana.
Well, his defenders coming out of a single line of defence. They're creating all sorts of havoc for themselves. They are missing tackles time and time again.
Marcella didn't miss that one on Moana. Good job too. This is Clinch, steps, looking for the hat-trick. What a player Gavin Clinch is. Our first half hat-trick here at the new Shea in just half an hour. And they look despondent on the Leeds bench, and well they might. But on the terraces, they're the Halifax fans, and they're cheering this fella, Gavin Clinch, who's got a new deal in his pocket, of course. He's part of the future, he's very much part of the present.
Twinkle toes there, and you can see yet again this Leeds defence, there's just nobody there, not even first or second marker. Look how they're on the back foot again. Saint Hilaire, they just hang back and see what this kid is going to do. I'll tell you what he's going to do. This is the break here. The big fella, Clark. They are missing tackles time and time again. Hay tried all he could to slow things down, but look at the dummy markers. They're not even bothering. Oh, this really is a poor display by Leeds. Let's not take anything away from Clinch. He's on the hat-trick, he's got it.
Hat-trick and 4 goals. Hat-trick and 5 goals. It's Gavin Clinch's night thus far, and very much Halifax's. 26-0.
You see the straight line that he'll be going through, off and running. There he goes. Superb stuff from Clinch. He knew exactly what line to take, and it was straight.
Well, what a night Gavin Clinch is having. What a night Halifax are having. I think they better get the house full signs up for Headingley next Sunday night, because I'll tell you what, Steve-O, Halifax will be buoyed by this, and Leeds will be desperate for revenge. If indeed they end up on the losing side, but at 26-0, it's difficult to see them coming back. Double change. Holroyd and Fleary have come on.
Well, the chess game is unfolding, and the kings and queens out on the Halifax side, and I can assure you the pawns have been overrun.
This is Sheridan with the run deep into Halifax territory. St. Hilaire was the dummy half, and that's Kemp. That looked a touch forward.
Certainly was. Kemp held on to it, but he's allowed the power play to continue on. Delayed a little bit too much there. Cummings about half a metre in front. Either way, it was the turnover.
This now is Mercer. Tuolangi, dummy half.
Well, it was obvious, wasn't it, Eddie, that when he rested Godden, Harrison, Morley, Graham Merrick laid down his card, said that he's not taking this match all that seriously.
Having said that, it's not a bad side Leeds have got out, for all the fact that they've got a few stars missing.
We said, look at the depth. I mean, on the bench, they had Fleary, Powell, Holroyd and Leroy Rivette. That's not bad.
Well, referee saying that Halifax didn't play the ball properly, but Des Clark believe he has a case against Darren Fleary.
Well, I think he may have even had a touch of it with the boot. I lost it there anyway, but a lot of interference, had to play the ball. Such a big fella, Des Clark. Works his substitutes very well, John Pendlebury, as does Graham Merry.
33 minutes on the watch, 7 minutes to half-time. Let's go pitchside and join Angela Powers.
Well, John Pendlebury wanted his side to show some self-belief, and that's really what they are showing. They're not surprised with what they've shown out here tonight with this 24-0 lead, and he just wants them to get the psychological advantage for next week. 26-0, sorry. Leeds, they've rested a few players, and Halifax reckon that because they've been rested, the rest of the players might not be up for it. But Halifax certainly are by the looks of this.
Daryl Powell dancing 10 metres away from the Halifax line, and all the experience in the world has Daryl Powell. 33 caps for his country, plus England appearances as well. Fleary loses the ball. The referee says it's a knock-on.
Well, the referee, Steve Presley, saying that he never saw the ball pop out, so he didn't want to play the advantage. There's quite a few players in there. Either way, it didn't appear as though there was a hand involved. Head and feet to Halifax.
Well, I wonder why he's put the scrum down, because if it was a knock-on, Halifax had got the possession. Should that not have been play on, or did he say that because Halifax got it underneath their own post, there was no advantage to them?
Obviously.
It's only a matter of a metre. Dial Powell now. Farrell and Fleary, the tacklers. Bit of interference there from Farrell, but the referee's now got Leeds for offside. And a quick tap penalty by Clinch. Here he goes again. He's having a field day.
Well, you talk about a team that has got no concentration whatsoever. And that's going to be a sin bin stuff now. They're getting so confused out there. Do you know, Clinch took that tap and there wasn't one Leeds player in front of him. Fortunately, they had to come back. They just do not have their minds on the job. They've just come here and said, oh, we don't care about this game.
Tony Kemp is the Leeds captain, and he is being told to tell his team to stop this messing around and to play the ball. I think if there's any more of it, the yellow card will appear from the pocket of one Stephen Presley.
Well, I said before the game, I thought it was a big gamble, and the wrong gamble by Graham Murray to rest so many players, lay his cards well and truly on the table.
No, he's kept his cards close to his chest, Steve-O, by doing that.
I'm talking about what he's saying to his players, because the players have said, oh, well, the coach said he's not worried about this game, so why should we? Try to tell that to the fans. Try to tell that to all the viewers that support Leeds throughout this wonderful season. They are highly paid professional footballers. At the moment, they're playing like school children.
Clinch with the opportunity for two more. Misses. Well, he's human. There's a mistake. That's a miss from Gavin Clinch. 26-0 it stays.
Just a little bit of a dint in the dream part of the play that he has produced so far this season.
They want him off the field, Halifax, because apparently he's got a bit of a cut on the head, Gavin Clinch.
Well, having said that, with it 26-0, remember I once said a couple of weeks ago that it surprised me that John Pendlebury did not take off Gavin Clinch when late in the game, when it was well and truly over. I think it was against Hull.
Yes, it was.
When the Hull forwards were really hammering the little halfback. But John Pendlebury says stay out there and endure it, and he's done exactly the same tonight.
Well, he actually now goes to the bench, and I think that will be a blood bin change. Clinch off, replaced by Martin Pearson. Interestingly, Gavin Clinch, with 22 points in this match already, is just 6 points away from the Super League point-scoring record in a match set by Greg Barwick of the London Broncos. And I think that was in 1996, the very first Super League season.
Neat work by Martin Moana, happy to be back. Quite a remarkable recovery.
Yeah, hairline fracture of the arm, but the remarkable thing is, Steve-O, Clinch goes to the bench, this fella now will take control.
That's what it's all about, having the depth there, but it's just amazing. It looked as though Moana was going to be out for the entire season, and he has amazed the doctors by the quick recovery. He must mend extremely well.
He's amazed everybody, and he's delighted his coach. And whereas Graham Murray mightn't have wanted this match, particularly, Halifax Blue Sox thrilled to have it, so as Moana can get a little bit more match experience after his layoff. He has missed, 3 games since he had the hairline fracture against St Helens.
The doctors said that it knitted so well, he could have darned some Blue Sox. great defence. They really are up for this. Putting their bodies on the line.
Keep going.
28 points to 12. Bradford ahead with 20 minutes of the second half gone, and Salford's David Bradbury, I hear, has been sent off. So the season ending on a sour note for the Salford Reds' David Bradbury.
Much better kick here, even though it did beat Golden in the end. 32 Ilangi, just allowing it to go out there. 30 seconds to the half-time break. A job well done. That's what John Pendlebury will be saying to his chargers. I'd like to be a fly on the wall in the Leeds half-time dressing room.
Good job that St. Hilaire held on to the shirt tails of one Gary Mercer then. This is Bloom. Farrell was in there and Blackmore. Martin Hall to Gillespie. He gets Halifax to halfway. We've just 5.5 minutes to the half-time siren. Des Clark. Hall again. Scampers away. Ooh! And there was a collision off the ball then, involving Fleary and Moana.
Martin Hall went straight in and got one right in the kisser. Talk about poking your nose into it.
Referee immediately blew the whistle. I think I might give the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure on first view.
Well, you can see he took Moana out, and he didn't like it. Hall has a look up and says, hey, you're supposed to tackle me that's carrying the football. Hall made advances, and Fleary made more of it. He knew it was coming. That was a pretty big hit as well. Hall said, hey, watch it. And Fleary gave him a right little uppercut into the head. Farrell goes for the back. Mercer interferes.
Now then.
Tries to intervene. Oh, it's all on.
Well, this is going to be interesting because Darren Fleary is going to be placed on report here. The referee has called.
And I haven't. Listen what I'm doing. I'm putting it on report. There's no elbow raised. Okay, there's no problem whatsoever. But I'm putting it on report. Leave the man who hasn't got the ball alone. Okay? You take it. Shut it. So I'm putting that on report. Then I'm Fleary. Listen, take it back from me now. Don't anybody ever come running in on my field, because I will send them off. Not the original incidents, the people that come running in. Now remember, you two as well, take it back to your side. It's more important next week than this week. Okay, right.
Well, little wink from Darren Fleary. I hope that wasn't an indication that he thinks he's been let off, because the disciplinary committee will view that incident and make of it what they will this week.
Well, it was a straight-out shoulder charge. It was late. I don't think there was a swinging arm. I think it was a shoulder into the chest. The big concern, of course, for the official Steve Presley was that quite a few of the players wanted to carry on with it, especially Martin Hall.
Well, I misread the clock earlier, Steve-O. I said there was 5.5 minutes to go. There was about 23 seconds. But then the little fracas did delay things slightly to about 5.5 minutes.
Somewhat.
Pearson gets 2 more for the Halifax cause. Maybe the half-time siren, which is due now, is coming at just the right time, as 1 or 2 tempers can ease off a little. Frustration for Leeds, but glory, hallelujah for Halifax Blue Sox. Clinch with a hat-trick. He's now off the field and in the blood bin. Mercer with a try, and Pearson with a goal, and Clinch with all the other goals. It has been arguably Halifax's best 40 minutes of 1998, certainly for this fellow, Gavin Clinch. And Leeds, well, it's a wreckage. Super League as well. Not only tonight, but also all over the next 4 weeks as the playoffs get underway. And what a psychological boost it will be for Halifax if they can take a victory against Leeds into the meeting with them next week at Headingley. 28-0 at half-time. Can Leeds rescue something from this. It has been an absolute case of them being taken to the cleaners. But first incident of the second half is a mistake and a knock-on by Carl Gillespie.
Well, they definitely lost it. Impact on the ground. Kemp trying to help the touch judge. Little point. The merry flag waiver. Little doubt that Gillespie did drop it. Well, it would be a big lift for the Leeds Rhinos if they could get points on the board very early in this second half. They certainly need to shake the feathers.
Kemp to Cummins. Good tracking by Chris Chester. Good tackle. St. Hilaire. Hauled down. Sheridan, Kemp, and here's Darryl Powell. Back it goes to McDermott. McDermott puts the head down and runs straight into the Halifax defenders. Doesn't make any ground. Oh, and he made a right meal of that. That's a knock-on. Referee says play on.
Well, I wonder if Mr. Kemp's pointing to the touch judge on this occasion. I doubt it.
Here's Holroyd, ball back inside. Powell wrapped up by Martin Hall. Moana and Gibson in there as well. Tackle completed, standing up. No progress being made. Sheridan, long ball to Kemp. He will hit it long and out wide, looking for Paul Sterling. Sterling gets to it, but he got to it first. But it was Martin Pearson who got to it second. And importantly, he got control of the football.
Nice hit there by Tony Kemp. It was a planned move there. Sterling not going for the football, but knocking it back. The only problem is, there was no Leeds player to pounce on it.
Mercer takes the tackle 2 minutes into this second half. Let's get the half-time news. Here's Angela.
Well, Halifax were raring to go for this second half. They couldn't wait to get back out onto the field. What John Pendlebury has told them is that he wants his side to be a bit more smart at the marker defence. There's been a great opportunity for him to try one or two new moves, and judging by the score here, seems they're working. Graham Murray believes this could be a big test of character for his side. He simply wants his boys to try harder and win the half, sorry.
Big ask, 28 points down. Win the half. Suppose 1-0 will do then.
Well, at least it'll be an improvement on the first 40. Marker defence there. Halifax have made 5 busts in and around the area. It was a problem in the first half for Leeds. They were very lethargic getting themselves organised, and on many occasions they only had 1 marker, never mind 2.
Champions have finished on a winning note, 40 points to 18 against Salford, who were reduced to 12 men. David Bradbury sent off. 40 points to 18, Bradford Bulls. Here's some statistics for you from the first half. Halifax having made 122 tackles to Leeds 106, and 22 missed tackles by Leeds. That really is the key to the match, and the clean breaks from Halifax, 14 of them.
Not surprising, attacking it's there, Leeds 6. But really that's been brought about because that's been their only option because of this defence. But here's a break.
Good break too by Holroyd. Halifax, born and bred, is Graham Holroyd. Maybe will be a touch embarrassed by this scoreline. Kemp floats the kick out wide looking for Golden. They're trying to protect Tuilangi, and Tuilangi comes up with it. And off he goes. Didn't he catch that in goal? No, he jumped from the field of play. Good decision by the referee.
Was it ever? Well spotted there by Steve Presley, but what a great take yet again. A lot of people at the start of this season suggested that Ferretti Tuilangi had a big problem. Oh, that's good defence though. Well, I give the big fella a rap, and he gets bundled into touch. Took the wrong option on this occasion. He was still moving. Hay made short of that. It was finished off, but what a great take though. A couple of seconds earlier on Tuilangi.
He'll go down well at St Helens next year, as well as he's gone down well here at Halifax. He is a huge favourite on the terraces. Big, rough, tough winger.
Yeah, we can look forward to red and white midget gems in his hair next season. Quite a smart buy though.
Yes, they'll be sorry to lose him here. Here's Holroyd. Drag Cummins back on the inside, and McDermott Good pass into the arms of Sheridan. Play on. Kemp. Good hands. Powell. Farrell. Out wide it goes, but behind Sterling, and they've blown a try. Leeds. No wonder Sterling looks over his shoulder. He had no chance of that. Farrell really should have gone on his own.
3-1. And they have absolutely blown it. Powell did well to offload in the first place, but the radar of Farrell went astray.
Maybe he should have been a little more determined, Steve-O, and gone for the line on his own.
Well, I'm selfish, that is for sure, but when you've got a man outside, it would have been an easy try. Trouble was, it was an awful pass.
Here's Mercer now for Halifax. Gillespie withdrawn into the blood bin, and Carl Harrison comes on to replace him. As Bloom is wrestled to the floor by Kemp. Martin Hall. Away it goes to Des Clark. Nice flick pass to Hall again.
Ooh, swinging arm there by Holroyd. Farrell got to him with a big hit. Holroyd went over the top. Ooh, took his eyes off the football.
So Leeds have got it back. St. Hilaire. Powell, dummy half. Whoops. That's a penalty. It's not allowed once the hands go in between the legs. And that's why Darryl Powell is most concerned with that. Mind you, a little overreaction maybe. The referee had blown for the penalty, but Powell not happy with this. And it's Moana who put the hand between the legs, and once they do that, that is when the referee blows the whistle. And Powell picked out the wrong man, actually, threw the ball at Martin Hall.
To be fair, Marshall was already in there. Hall helping along, a dangerous tackle. And as you said, Eddie, Steve Presley had already blown. And they overreacted somewhat, but it's a better start by Leeds.
Yes, much more committed.
Mainly due to this fella, McDermott, is going forward at least.
Kemp, now Fleary. Fleary, good run from Fleary, just hauled down 1.5 meters short. Sheridan, Kemp, Holroyd goes further wide to Powell again. And Dio Powell on that occasion was tempted to put his hands in between Darryl Powell's legs to bring him down. Kemp. Back it goes to Farrell. Well, as you say, a much brighter opening to this second half from the Rhinos. Playing for pride, and Graham Murray wants them to win this second half at least. Richie Blackmore plays it, Sterling at dummy half. Holroyd now, another floated kick out wide. For Golden, Tuilangi missed him, he was like an exocet. The ball goes down to St. Hilaire. Tuilangi has cut back and brought St. Hilaire down. That's sensational defence from the Blue Sox.
Cooking over there to the left-hand side. You can see Tuilangi went a little bit too high, but watch Tuilangi get back and make sure that the fullback, that's a great effort there. Working overtime. It's not just about the one line of defence, you've got to make sure you've got to go back and help your colleagues. And you could see quite clearly there that Tuilangi wanted to do that. Okay, he may be on his way to St. Helens, but he wants to go out with a big bang. Grand final, I'm sure, that's what they've got the sights on.
Richard Marshall plays it, Martin Hall then gives it to Martin Moana. Escapes the clutches of Powell. Can't get away from the next two, Cummins and McDermott. That's the protected arm of Barry McDermott. This is Martin Hall. Into the corner, Tuilangi's after this. Golden is just lolloping up to it. Tuilangi got him, but he ducked under the challenge, and Tuilangi comes back for a second effort.
Went far too high, it was a beautiful kick and chase. Went over the top. Ooh, not the best pass, well picked up there by Holroyd.
Well, the critics have sat and waited for the bubble to burst at the new Shea, but the pop has not come. It's an all-round team effort that's seen them through, and it looks like there's somebody in a problem.
Looks like Powell.
It is Darryl Powell.
Carl Harrison made the impact, and he knew that he was injured straight away. Called on the trainer, looked at the referee. He just went in awkward there. And he's a big boy, is Carl Harrison. And Powell not too well after this attempt. Slipping down. And I think perhaps just twisting the body. Maybe a problem with the back.
Fortunately, he got his head out of the way because Carl Harrison's considerable weight was coming down on top of his head. He slipped, didn't he, at the wrong moment, Darryl Powell.
And you can see how his body was very awkward. It was twisting. And when you've got the big fella Carl Harrison coming towards him.
He was immediately concerned, though, Carl Harrison, wasn't he? And he signalled to the referee to hold up play and get some treatment to Darryl Powell, and that's exactly what he's done.
Well, they've had many trips away together, of course, with the international side. Powell and Harrison. Seems to be okay.
Eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed that the Leeds trainer administering the magic sponge and water was one Seamus McCallion, former Halifax great, a try scorer when Halifax won at Wembley. Big collision off the ball there. Tony Kemp has gone down after making that kick, and he collided, I think, with Des Clark, I think it is. Came in very late.
Twist his body. Big point is that he committed himself. He's going to go to the touch judge, I feel. Oh, Clark had certainly launched himself.
Referee takes the report from the touch judge. What's he given? He's coming across the other side to talk to the touch judge on this side. I just wonder whether Steve Presley rather saw the incident on the big screen that's right behind him there.
Well, you could see that the big fella Clark was twisting. He got very high indeed, trying to make sure that the ball was knocked down. I don't think there was anything malicious in it.
No,
and
he agrees.
And by the time that it had left the boot of Tony Kemp, I think Clark was well and truly into mid-air.
Ball hasn't come out of the scrum, now it has. That's why the referee was telling the Leeds forwards to stay in the pack, keep it bound. Darryl Powell.
Much better defence by Leeds there. A lot more eager in the second half. Obviously the words of wisdom by their coach Graham Merrick ringing in their ears.
Bloom is dumped to the ground by Mark Glanville. Hall to Harrison.
Well, Fleary could have been got for a flop there, but he basically went to lean on his own man. Probably the reason why the referee gave that away. Back to six.
Trying to force the pace, and Kemp certainly got a hand to it. The referee wipes the tackle count down to 0. Here's Clark again.
Big hit there. Fleary didn't miss the big fella Clark. Well, it's getting quite tidy, isn't it? We said at half-time the one thing that Leeds cannot afford to do is to lose the plot and have a player perhaps put on report or sent off.
But he's already on report, Darren Fleary.
Oh, dearie me today. It was a lot worse than the incident where he was put on report.
Well, that's stirred up a hornet's nest. Marshall with that drive in. Here's Mercer. Tries to break the tackle of 2.
It's had a big game, hasn't he, the loose forward there. 9-4 penalties going Halifax way.
Pearson. Back it comes this way once more. Martin Moana. That arm that he broke, heavily strapped. This is Chester, now it's with Harrison. Harrison back to Mercer. Mercer will keep it alive to Moana. Moana on then to Pearson, and Pearson tries to dance around the last line of defence, Marcus St. Hilaire. Martin Hall. Out wide it goes, looking for Clark. The first knock on by Halifax.
Head and feed to the Leeds side. Well, good defence there, they didn't get sucked in. At least they stayed on the line. And they put the pressure on. Just a bit scrappy there, and I think the official has to just keep an eye on this. There's a few verbals going on out there. Getting a little bit tasty.
It's a much stiffer half for Leeds. 13 minutes gone, they've not conceded a point. As John Pendlebury makes two changes, Skerritt and Rowley return to the fray. But it should really have come as little surprise to us that Halifax have got into this situation against Leeds, because they've won the last 4 home league meetings with the Rhinos. Leeds did win here in the Challenge Cup quarter-final in 1996. But as you can see, Leeds do have the better of things in meetings between these two over the past 25 years, both at home at Headingley and here in Halifax. Of course, this is the first meeting at the new Shea.
Much better play there. Good run from the dummy half by Ryan Sheridan. More of that, please. That's what they need. They really have not put the pressure on the Halifax markers.
Holroyd, big boot into open territory downfield. And not in any great hurry, David Bouveng, allowing the ball to run into touch near the corner flag.
Fine kick by Holroyd. Good left footer right into the corner. Well, in between the big centre and the full back. Just hoping now that Halifax can cough up the football. They'll be trying to pressurise the mistake out of them.
Remember the match at Headingley in November, rather in 1997. Graham Holroyd emerged and scored a try and kicked a goal in a 20 points to 18 win. It was much tighter on that occasion than it is tonight. Been being reversed, and this is getting just a little bit tetchy out there. And 1 or 2 players ought to think ahead 7 days. They're losing their rag, and they might lose a place in the playoff series.
Especially that man Fleary. And they came back. I don't think Fleary was the one that started it, but you never know what went in the scrum. In the background, as the scrum broke up,
Kelvin Skerritt is going to take 10 minutes in the sin bin.
I think so. I think Kelvin went.
Fleary's going with him.
Went looking for Fleary. Pretty difficult to see who started it all. Well, we knew it was boiling.
Oh, it's Anthony Farrell who goes off. And remember, Farrell and Kelvin Skerritt, who are now in the sin bin, were both sent from the field in the first match this season at Headingley. Anthony Farrell wonders why it was him. It all turns out to be a penalty for Leeds anyway.
Settle things down, that's a major concern. And it's worrying times for both coaches, Pendlebury and Graham Murray. Harrison using the elbow.
Quick tap penalty by Leeds. Masella.
Well, all it needs now is an awkward tackle, and it could all blow. Harrison threw one, and it could go. Well, why lose your mind when everyone's trying to calm things down? He's just had a bit of a chin wag with everybody.
I've penalised you twice now for foul play in the last 2 tackles. You swung across his face there, Carl. It's most important that you play next week. I will have to do my job if you don't get it on board.
Carl Harrison now knows.
Well, he should know better. He's the captain.
Well, he was bemused when he was pulled out by referee.
Well, you could see the swinging right arm. It's going to be on again.
Holroyd pops it up to Andy Hay. Tell you what, Steve-O, it's going to be tasty next Sunday. Glanville.
We haven't finished here yet. But as you say, there'll be a few names being jotted into their own little personal diaries.
Next Sunday, 6:30, the return. But at Headingley this time, 6:30. The losers that night won't go out. The winners will play Wigan for a place in the grand final.
Great defence there. Marvin Golden pushed back 3 metres.
The losers next Sunday play the winners of Saints Bradford. Next Friday, the losers of Saints Bradford go out. This is the way it'll shape down. A team will depart the scene all the way through to the grand final in Manchester.
They're going to make a decision now whether the Halifax player actually went for it, and I think you'll find that Bouvang didn't make a move for it. You heard the referee, Steve Presley, accidental offside, head and feed to Leeds. Now then, this will be interesting. Keep your eye on the pack. Already got 2 in the sin bin. And I can assure you, they don't put their heads to each other and say, what type of aftershave are you wearing?
It's in and it's out quickly. St. Hilaire gets to his feet. Kemp dummy half. And that's Leroy Rivette. Sheridan, Fleary, Marcella, all wrapped up. It's good defence.
Tremendous stuff.
They want to carry a nil scoreline against them into the playoffs, just as St Helens did on Friday. Glanville, strong run, back it goes to Rivette, Tuilangi was all over him, and the ball finds its way to the touchline.
Well, that all comes about by standing so flat. Glanville did everything he did to offload, but you could see Rivette, had just gone off over the mark. Got to come running onto the football. It's been another problem of this Leeds outfit tonight. They've been very, very shallow.
Come on, get off the ball, get off the ball!
28-0 to the Blue Sox, and we're at the midway point of this second half. It's as you were at half-time. Leeds with better possession in the second 40 so far. Moana, it's a slack pass from Rowley.
Well, I think you're right with a key factor for Halifax now. John Pendlebury will be telling his charges that just make sure that Leeds do not score. It'll be a great boost for them if they can keep them, and that's interference at the play, the ball.
Penalty to Halifax, while we invite your votes for the man of the match. 0891 33 33 13. Don't forget the prize, as always, a couple of tickets to the grand final. Your name will also go forward into the draw for the box, the VIP box at Old Trafford on the night. I wonder if you spotted a man of the match. Certainly the stars were glittering in the first 40. Hope you were with us then. Now we ask you to make your votes. 0891 33 33 13. He's had a big game, Mercer.
Led by example. He's had a fine season, but tonight he really has been on fire.
Will be against this lot, won't he? Moana! A step through one and gets the try. Hint of a forward pass, according to my learned colleague next door, but Steve Presley's convinced the pass was A-OK, and Martin Moana adds to his season's tally. 12 tries now, and he has crowned his comeback from the hairline fracture of the arm with 4 points.
It was a delayed pass, and just a little bit of a dummy, and another missed tackle adds to the woeful tally of missed tackles for the Leeds side tonight. Nothing that Sheridan could do about it. There was sheer class, wasn't it, by Moana? But I'm not so sure the pass from here, not too bad. High shot, perhaps get away with it. Either way, Pearson did well, and so did this fella. That'll be a big boost for his confidence. It's always difficult to come back from an injury, especially a broken arm, and to have scored that try, it really will have helped his cause, as will have helped Halifax too.
A couple of tries in the win against Leeds last year at Halifax at the old Thrum Hall. And if memory serves, a try at Headingley also this year. Pearson's missed the kick. 32-0 though. Makes pretty good reading for the Blue Sox coach John Pendlebury.
They can see it's just going backwards, and that's sufficient. But what a neat little step there off the right foot. Steps on the gas. That's a great try. Blue Sox fans will be happy with that, so will he.
So 63 minutes gone, and Halifax well in control of this game. Andy Hay withdrawn, and Darryl Powell, having had ice applied to the back of the neck, comes back on bravely. Kemp underneath the kick-off. Hall gets to him with the tackle. Now Masella. Good drive upfield. Good defence again, though, from Halifax. That has been evident from the very first whistle tonight. The referee was calling Gary Mercer to stay with him. Gary Mercer was too quick off the mark. Glanville gets it going quickly again. Here's Cummins. He gets away from Mercer. Can't get away from Des Clark or Paul Rowley. Sheridan's the dummy half for Leeds. Here's Holroyd. Now Kemp. Kemp with the diagonal run and spins, but can't release the pass.
Well, their approach work is good, but yet again they're standing very flat.
Cleary up the middle.
Will they do the switch to the blind side? It looks as though it's on.
Holroyd goes the other way. Masella tackled by Rowley and Carl Harrison. Darryl Powell at dummy half. Long ball to Holroyd. Further out wide to Golden. Went without it. It was stolen from him. Bloom! Jamie Bloom! But Paul Sterling's quick. That's good chase back from Sterling.
Good work from both players. Jamie Bloom realised he didn't have the legs, so he made sure he gave himself a good metre infield.
Quick hands. Mercer's heading for the corner. He's got the legs on Glanville. That's Gary Mercer's second try. He celebrates in front of the empty stand, but he celebrates just the same. And the big smile from Gary Mercer. He will remember this night. 2 tries against the club that let him go.
Super work there. Good work by the South African. And Jamie Bloom pinches the ball off Golden. Sterling had the legs. He knew it. So he whipped the ball into his left arm so he could fend with the right. And from this, you talk about the linking qualities. Pearson out wide. Tuilangi. Mercer went off. What speed! Glanville got nowhere near him. Oh, this is outstanding football from Halifax. They made the impact on the left-hand side. Look at the speed of this fella. He's no spring chicken. And when he gets up, he celebrates. This is the pinch. Oh, he did well. It nearly bobbled down. Mercer went through. Goes over. And he celebrates to an empty stand. Maybe he's got a hidden relative in there somewhere.
Pearson with the conversion attempt. He's floated that one over. 38 points to 0. It's a bit of a rout for the Leeds Rhinos a week before the playoffs, and 1 or 2 of them are already heading for the exits. They've seen enough. They'll come back next week. They'll know that the reinforcements will arrive in the shape of Harris, Godden and Morley, 3 in particular, and 1 or 2 more maybe who will come back having missed this, and they'll hope for better fate when the playoffs start. But Halifax will take a big smile with them down the motorway to Headingley in 7 days' time. Well, Gavin Clinch was the star of the show in the first half. He's been often in the blood bin for quite a wee while now, but he's alongside Angela on the sideline.
Gavin, a storming first half, and it's going on as well in this second half, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been good so far. We had a big first half. We knew we had to do that, and one of the main things tonight for us was we haven't been going well in the second half, so we wanted to continue it, and so far we're doing it just as long as we can hold on here.
Now, the league points don't really matter that much here, but what's the relevance of this game?
Well, I think mentally it's a big thing. You know, they came here probably expecting it's going to be a little bit easier than this. They rested a few players, and we wanted to go out full, you know, with everything we got and try and really give it to them. We've done great here. They did it to us at their ground, so hopefully we can continue it here and hopefully rack up a few more points.
So important for next week, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's going to be a whole different game next week. Semi-finals are a different game. We're going to take this and enjoy it tonight, but it's going to be a big game next week, and we're going to be looking forward to it all.
Well,
Kevin.
there's a big incident here because Cummins and Clark went in bravely and got a real bang for his pains. Halifax were incensed, but again on second and third look at this, I'm not sure, Steve-O. He pulled back.
Yeah,
I don't
think there's any real intent to it. He realised that the big fella Clark had come across. Not a bad option. You can see that plenty of defence there. Clark has it under control, and yeah, to be fair, there was nothing malicious from Francis Cummins, but maybe that should be a try.
Wonder whether it is.
Confusion reigns out there at the moment.
He's not gone for the video ref. Having said that, Clark must have got a bang in the face. Now either it's a penalty against Leeds, and Clark, by the looks of things, is flat out and in some distress.
Let's hope they can calm him down. The medical team are there, just making sure.
The referee's having the devil's own job in keeping these two sides apart.
Well, there Clark goes across, and to be fair, I think the impact is on the, well, it appeared to be on the elbow.
Well,
if you roll it on, maybe there's an incident afterwards. This is where it pulls away now.
Yeah.
Now his knee's gone through.
I think it's the shin has caught him on the side of the head.
I think it's the left knee that went through and caught him when he was obviously just relaxed because of the impact. He would have felt the first impact from the boot on the elbow, and from that slow motion replay you can see that the knee continues through, catches him on the elbow with a boot, and to be fair, he was not pushing the foot forward. He tried to pull out of it, but he couldn't get out of the way in time, and the left knee has certainly made an impact.
Well, the medical team is there, and as Clark will be helped onto that stretcher, but you might have heard in the background, while we were looking at those replays and describing what happened to you, the referee telling both sides, back off, get away from, I mean, I don't know who on earth is going to be in charge of next Sunday's match at Headingley, but I think we should expect fireworks, if this is anything to go by.
Well, they certainly will.
I hope they don't carry scores, Steve-O, forward a week.
Well, as I said, they'll be jotting a few names down. And it can't be helped. There's been quite a few unsavoury incidents within this game. And remember, this is a game that Leeds really more or less implied that they were going to take things easy. Halifax, they came out with all guns blazing. Their coach John Pendlebury made it very clear indeed. He wanted to get a big score against Leeds if they wanted to just take things easy. But that could have a big bearing on Halifax's progress in the playoffs. Let's hope that he's going to be A-OK. He's a fine footballer, a vital cog in the Halifax machine.
Yes, he's took a heavy bang. If he is concussed, Steve, what are the rules about concussion? Does that put him out of next week?
Well, I don't think that he lost control. I think he was somewhat dazed, and I didn't see him sort of just go flat out. He's moving his arms, and his legs were moving slightly.
I think if it's concussion, I think it's normally 2 weeks, isn't it, before they're allowed to play again. It's just a question of whether he was concussed or not. But the incident's going on report, as you can hear.
Deliberate, careless or reckless, or whether he slid in and where contact was made. So I'm doing a penalty to Halifax, but I'm putting the incident on report, Francis Cummins. Okay?
Well, this is the incident again, and I think, to be fair to Cummins, he went to kick at the football, realised it wasn't going to be there. And he doesn't look to crash off himself, does he, Francis Cummins? Well, he's on report.
Well, that's 2 Leeds men on report now.
It's going to be busy.
Oh, here's Skerritt.
At Red Hall. We'll talk about throwing a hornet into the nest. Skerritt won't take a backward step.
No, he's chatting to somebody. Well, they have 11 and 3/4 minutes to just hang on to their tempers, because there are big things ahead for these two clubs. At least 2 matches in the playoffs for either of them.
Halifax will be quite content to play out their 6 and the kicking game. Pearson downfield, let's get out of here. It's a good kick too. Quick thinking there by Pearson. Taking over the role, of course, when Gavin Clinch went into the blood bin. And that's a pretty smart move also by John Pendlebury, not to risk bringing back Gavin Clinch, the hat-trick hero of the first 40 minutes.
Andy Hay returns for Francis Cummins, who was injured in the incident, and he's limping away behind the posts. Gavin Clinch still off the field. Doesn't look like he will be returning for the last 10. Here's Kemp. Skerritt got to him, as did Mercer. Marvin Golden. Up the middle he goes. It calls for brave hearts now.
Sure does. This is where you sort out the men from the boys. This is where the courage comes. People who want to line up and take the ball up. Golden wants it.
Don't forget that grand final date. It's the 24th of October at Old Trafford. The race for that begins in earnest next week. The match will kick off on the Saturday evening at 6:30. Any further information, Super League Europe's office will be open for business 9 a.m. in the morning on 0113 234 4455. 0113 234 4455 for any information you might require about the grand final. They won't tell you who's playing. We'll know who's playing over the next 3 weeks.
Good run by the hooker there, Paul Rowley.
I thought Leeds, Steve-O, were red-hot favourites to get to the grand final until tonight. I know you've tipped them all year.
Well, they'll obviously be a different outfit next week at Headingley in front of their own crowd, but there could be a few gremlins running around in some of the Leeds players' minds.
Pearson, little dab over the top.
Did well there, Sterling. He's had a hard game, Sterling. He's certainly not let the side down. Ooh, big hit there. Holroyd felt that. Harrison says, I've got the bricks and mortar. It's called a wall. Boom.
Here goes Rivette. Well, Halifax now want to keep Leeds to 0. One block. Oh, and they've coughed the ball up. Boubeng has swooped on it. Hall flicks the pass in field. Here goes Gillespie. Desperate defence now from the Leeds Rhinos. Rowley into the arms of Dio Powell.
Did well to pick it up there, the Welshman. And on the half volley.
Mercer's after a hat-trick. Clinch got one first half. Mercer wants one now.
Had a big game there. Really enjoyed playing in the loose forward role tonight. There's Gary Mercer.
Pearson thought about the pass out wide, went on a little run, then knocked it back to Hall, gives it to Gibson, onto Tuilangi. Tuilangi comes straight across, applies the brakes. Lawford gets to him eventually. It's the last one. Powell, they're running it. Halifax with Bloom. Oh, he's gone 2 dummies. Flicks it back. It's a try for Boubeng. David Boubeng gets another try. It was created by Bloom. He went, do you want it? Twice. Leeds didn't. The ball was flicked back, and Boubeng adds to his tally.
Tuilangi, great run, put them in this position. Long ball out wide. Neat little dummy there. Get out of the way, Golden. This is real strength. Good offload there. Boubeng, the Australian centre, quite happy to add an extra 4 points. Tuilangi worked well. Lawford finally got there on the 3rd attempt, but you can see the Leeds defence, which has been typical of them all evening. They're on the back foot, and the South African threw the neatest of dummies, and under a lot of pressure, offloads, and Boubeng. The Aussie will enjoy that, so do the Halifax crowd. The pain continues for the Rhinos. Where's the gun?
David Boubeng, ever present this year, in his 9th try of 1998. 42-0. This for 44. Misses, so it stays at 42-0, and Halifax have certainly erased the memory of the defeat at Headingley. Graham Murray, his face really tells its own story, but he will look ahead next week and says that's the one that matters.
This is a problem. Look how far the dummy half runs here. They have just let them run riot. Well, Leeds will have to sort this out. They cannot afford to take dummies so easily as this. Nice pass, well finished.
6 minutes of this game remaining, and Leeds have yet to register a point. And if they hold Leeds to a 0 situation, Halifax Blue Sox will achieve something that no other side has achieved in the past 5 seasons. Such is the magnitude of this Halifax Blue Sox victory at the New Shea tonight. Who's your man of the match? I fancy he'll be a Blue Sox. 0891 33 33 13. That's Lawford with the kick into the corner, but Tuilangi fancies the challenge.
The crowd loved that, the little goose step. Not many players do this these days. The great Lewis Jones, of course, he used to excite the crowds with a typical style.
Mercer had a field day against his former club, will be relishing the journey to Headingley next Sunday, as we all will now, because the temperature throughout this summer on the field anyway, if not out off it, in terms of the weather, has been red hot, but it will go up a degree or two over the next 3 weeks.
Sure, Will and Farrell have made notice there. It was a big hit on Skerrett. Farrell certainly put himself about. He knows that we're on the end of a real shallacking tonight.
That's the second time in 2 matches you've used that adjective to describe the defeat. Sheffield got a shallacking on Friday, if I remember rightly.
If you don't score, it's a shallacking. I'll change it to a thrashing if Leeds get a point. Happy now?
Lawford, long ball, Kemp. This is Farrell again. Back it goes to Kemp again. Kemp, all wrapped up by Martin Hall. Marvin Golden, with the golden locks, is the dummy half. He gives it to Masella. Halifax are desperate to keep them out. They've 3.5 minutes to survive. Holroyd dabs it through. Rowley picked it up and he was onside. He came from an onside position. He came from behind the football to scrape it up off the ground.
Well, it's important now, both sides, all the players realise that these final minutes, that don't do anything silly. Do not lose your cool now. The game's over. We knew that very early in the first half. There's a Halifax player down, just trying to get back to his feet now. What a game.
He's had a great game, and the word on Des Clark, Steve-O, is that he's okay, he's recovering in the dressing room. It was a touch of concussion, nothing more. But he's fine and dandy now. He knows exactly where he is, and he knows he's taking home winning pay tonight. Leroy Rivette claims it, but it was a super chase again from Damien Gibson.
Been a real highlight, hasn't it, the way that the kick and chase game from Halifax has turned Leeds time and time again, around and around.
Sheridan and Glanville steps inside Moana and is picked up and dropped to the ground by Damien Gibson, and Gibson gets a pat on the back from his captain Harrison. Lawford, good ball to Kemp.
What a tackle. Well, there's no lightweight. There's Mark Glanville, the loose forward. Gillespie with a big one. Bloom picks up the pieces.
Sensational defence from Halifax. Can it get any better next week?
Well, there's going to be a few battered and bruised players in the Leeds side. On that occasion, it was Sterling that felt the full wrath of the Halifax defence. Well, the Blue Sox fans, they're chanting, singing. It'll be oh so different next week at Headingley. They know that.
Different kettle of fish next week. There's no doubt about that. And this will really sting the Rhinos and their supporters. But what will it do to Halifax? It's got to give them a massive boost as they go into that game.
Of course it does, and now it applies the pressure to Leeds. I know they have the luxury of being able to lose once and still make it to the grand final. But it really is now the pressure at Headingley, because the fans will say, OK, you held back at the Shea. We want nothing but the best next weekend. So the pressure is mounting all through this week.
And Yestin Harris will be back next Sunday. I think you can put your mortgage on that. Holroyd's trapped in goal. Or did he get the ball back into the field of play? He did. And now Halifax are caught offside.
Well, at 42-0, barely seconds remaining, you'd think that, well, we'll have a bit of a rest. But they have hammered home the point. The Blue Sox are not going to just fold at the latter part of the season. They're eager, they're keen.
Indeed they are, and they did come out with the message ringing in their ears that their playoff campaign starts tonight. That was the message from John Pendlebury. Third against second. Halifax have finished third, Leeds have finished second, but the Halifax supporters now are counting down to a famous victory at the New Shea. There hasn't been anything better than this all year, and Leeds are nilled for the first time in 5 seasons, and John Pendlebury has plotted their downfall. He will have to do it all again in 7 days' time. Martin Moana returned after the hairline fracture of the arm and scored a try on the hour. That made it 32-0. Then Mercer got his second, and Bouveng weighed in with another for good measure to make it 42-0. But the game was won in the first half when Gavin Clinch came up with the hat-trick. And he also kicked 5 goals. And there he is, Gavin Clinch, who will be back and marshalling things at Headingley next Sunday, I am sure. A wonderful display from the Halifax Blue Sox tonight, and they go to Headingley now for the playoff match against the Leeds Rhinos in the best possible spirits. Tuilangi, number 23 there. Maybe this is his last match at the New Shea. If they win next week, then they play Wigan. So they might not be coming back to the New Shea this year, but coming next, we will announce who your man of the match is, and there's a contender.
Super League on Sky is sponsored by JJB Sports.